Hey guys, welcome to your first asynchronous lesson for algebra. This is going to either appear for you on August 31st or it's going to appear for you on September 7th. So either way, you're going to see this video. Miss Horner and myself both teach algebra, so we will be sharing the duties as far as the asynchronous lesson. And the first lesson that we're going to do for the year is called Order of Operations. And it's a little review of, once again, order of operations. Before we get into the math, I just want to share my good thing. So depending on what day you're watching this, if you're watching this on August 31st, the Steelers are going to be playing exactly 2 weeks from today on Monday Night Football. And the September 7th group, you're going to say that the Steelers are going to be playing 1 week from today for Monday Night Football. So as we look at our learning target for today, once again, we are looking at order of operations, and we want to make sure that everybody is solving these the same way so that we all get the same answer. So you want to be able to follow the order of operations to get the same answer. And so that's how mathematicians came up with order of operations, so that there weren't going to be a multitude of answers for the same expression. So as we look at the order of operations review, there's probably an acronym that everyone's very familiar with, and it is called PEMDAS. So P stands for parentheses, E stands for exponents, M stands for multiplication, D stands for division, A stands for addition, and S stands for subtraction. Now, one of the problems that people have when they memorize this acronym is they assume that it is always multiply before divide because it says PEMDAS, and they say it's always addition before subtraction because it says PEMDAS, but that is not the case. So I'm going to put this in parentheses, and I'm also going to put this in parentheses. And the reason I'm going to do that is because multiply and divide carry the same weight, and add and subtract carry the same weight. So when you have a choice between a multiplication and division problem, whichever one comes to the left of the other one is the one that you do first. The same thing with addition and subtraction. If subtraction is to the left of addition, then you need to subtract first. So you could say that it's not always PEMDAS. What if division is in front of multiplication to the left? So it could be that. It could also be, let's say division is to the left of multiplication and subtraction is to the left of addition. Okay, it could also be, notice that the parentheses and the exponents always happen first, but you have a division and a multiplication. Let's do this last one right here. We could have multiplication first, then division, then subtraction, then addition. So you have to be aware of which one comes to the left of the other one as far as multiplication and division, and same thing with addition and subtraction. However, you will always multiply and divide before you will ever start to add and subtract. So you have all these different acronyms that mean basically the same thing, and then I'm going to throw in one more just in case, because sometimes you might see this. And the G is the exact same thing as the P. The G just stands for grouping symbols, which is the same thing as parentheses. Okay, so we're going to look at one example. I'm going to do an example with you. And the example that I'm going to do is 8 squared. And it's going to be divided by, and then in parentheses, so we already know that we're going to be doing that first, 32 divided by 2. And then we're going to close parentheses, and then we're going to put minus 2 times the quantity. So once again, inside parentheses, 3 minus 5. So I have to follow my order of operations. So the first thing I see, do I see any parentheses? I actually see 2 groups of parentheses. So I have to go 32 divided by 2 first, and then I'm going to go 3 minus 5 second. So I'm not even touching this 8 squared right now. And then we're going to put divided by, and now I'm going to figure out what is 32 divided by 2. Well, 32 divided by 2 is 16. And I'm going to put a minus 2, and then I'm going to come over here and I'm going to solve my other set of parentheses, 3 minus 5. I'm going to say 3 minus 5 is negative 2. So I'm done with my parentheses. Even though you see parentheses, the only reason I'm putting parentheses around there is just to make it easier to read, especially over here where you have multiplication. And so I want to separate the two numbers with a parenthesis so that I understand that it's negative 2 times negative 2. So next in the order of operations is the 8 squared. 8 squared does not mean 8 times 2. It means 8 times 8. So 8 times 8 is 64 divided by 16. And then I have negative 2. And if you don't understand why this is negative 2, minus 2 means the same thing as plus negative 2. So it's negative 2 times negative 2, which is a positive 4. So then I still have division, and I have an addition. And obviously I'm going to do the division before the addition. So I have 64 divided by 16. So 64 divided by 16 is 4. And so all I'm left with is 4 plus 4, which is 8. Okay? Notice that I go, each line is its own step. I start with the original, then I do my first order of operations. I solve the parentheses. Then I did my exponents. Then I did my division. And last but not least, I did my addition. Okay? Once again, we followed the order of operations so that everybody gets the same answer. If you deviate from that, you are not going to get the right answer. Okay? Question 1. This is one you're going to try on your own. So at this time, I want you to pause the video. I am not going to pause what I'm saying, so you're going to need to pause the video. I want you to solve this on your own. And then once you've solved it, I want you to play it, and then I want to see if your stuff matches mine. Okay? So here is our problem. I got 15 times the quantity 12 divided by 3 minus 7 squared minus 2 times 7. So the first thing I'm looking for is parentheses, and there is something in parentheses, and in parentheses I have 12 divided by 3. So the first thing I'm going to do is 12 divided by 3. So I've got 15 times 4, because 12 divided by 3 is 4, minus 7 squared minus 2 times 7. So I've got exponents next. So I look over here, I got 7 squared, so I'm not going to touch the 15 times 4 yet. And I've got minus 7 squared. Well, what is 7 squared? 7 squared is 49. 7 times 7 is 49. Minus 2 times 7. So now I'm looking at, I have two sets of multiplication. I have 15 times 4 on the left, and I've got 2 times 7 on the right. So I've got 15 times 4, which is going to be 60, minus 49, minus whatever 2 times 7 is, and 2 times 7 is 14. So now all I have left is two sets of subtraction. I have to go 60 minus 49. So 60 minus 49 is 11. And then I have to go 11 minus 14. And 11 minus 14 is negative 3. So your answer for number 1 is negative 3. Okay, same thing with number 2. I want you to solve, evaluate that expression. So if you see evaluate, it means the same thing as solve. So I want you to evaluate that expression. I want you to solve this on your own. As soon as you have solved it and you feel like you're correct, then I want you to unpause and I want you to see if you have the correct answer. So here I go. I'm going to go straight through. Notice that I do not have any parentheses on this. So I don't have any parentheses. So the next item in the order of operations is going to be exponents. And I have a 3 squared over here. A 3 squared is my only exponent. So 3 squared is going to be 9. And so I have 9 times 4 divided by 18 plus 30 times 6 minus 1. Look at this. I have multiply, divide, add, multiply, subtract. So I'm either going to do multiply or divide first. I just have to read it from left to right, just like you read a book from left to right. So I'm going to go 36. 9 times 4 is 36. Divided by 18 plus 30 times 6 minus 1. Now I'm going to do the division, because once again, the division is left of the multiplication. On this one, since the division is separated from the multiplication, I'm going to do both at the same time. So I've got 36 divided by 18, that is 2, plus 30 times 6. 30 times 6 is 180, minus 1. So this one works out for us where the addition is left of the subtraction. So I'm going to add first. So 2 plus 180 is 182. And I go 182 minus 1, which is, and I'll put the answer over here, 181. Okay. Number 3. Write down your expression for number 3. Pause the video at this time. Then once you're done solving that problem, hit play and see if your answer matches mine. Once again, I have no parentheses. I have a bunch of exponents. So I'm going to do all my exponents at once. I've got 5 squared, which once again means 5 times 5. So that's 25. Minus 2 squared. 2 times 2 is 4. Times 4 squared. 4 times 4 is 16. Minus 12. Let's make sure that shows up as a dot. Multiplication symbol. Okay. I have 25 minus 4 times 16 minus 12. I have subtraction, multiplication, subtraction. So obviously I'm going to do multiply first. So I've got 4 times 16 in the middle. 4 times 16, that's going to be 64. So I got 25 minus 64 minus 12. 2 subtractions. I'm going to start with the one on the left. I've got 25 minus 64. 25 minus 64 is going to be negative 39 minus 12. Kind of confusing here. Negative 39 minus 12. And the reason it's kind of confusing because sometimes you forget if this is subtract, it means the same thing as adding the opposite. So negative 39 minus 12 is the same thing as negative 39 plus negative 12. So negative 39 plus negative 12, your final answer is negative 51. Question 4. When it pops up, go ahead and pause your video. Go ahead and write it down and solve it. And then when you're done, unpause and see if your answer matches mine. I do have parentheses on this one, so the first thing I need to do is I need to go 9 minus 4. So I've got 5 times the quantity, whatever 9 minus 4 is, and 9 minus 4 happens to be 5, and it is squared, minus 3 squared. So now I go to my exponents. I have 2 different sets of exponents. I have to do 5 squared and I have to do 3 squared. Now notice I have this 5 pushed together with this other 5. So I'm going to be multiplying, but I don't multiply before I do my exponents. So I have 5 times whatever 5 squared is, which is 25, minus 3 squared, which is 9. So I have multiplication. When the 2 items are pushed together, it's multiply. And then I have subtraction. So obviously I'm going to multiply before I subtract. So 5 times 25 is going to be 125. minus 9. And 125 minus 9, let's try to sneak it in here, 116. So 116 is your answer for number 4. Number 5. Once again, pause the video, solve this on your own, unpause when you're done, and we will work it out together and hopefully have the same answer. I have one thing to do inside parentheses. 4 divided by 4 is 1. So I'm going to write 10 times 1. That's a bad 1. Let's put parentheses around it for right now. 2 squared minus 4 times 10. I see exponents right here with the 2 squared, so I'm going to go 10 times 1 minus whatever 2 squared is. 2 squared is 4 minus 4 times 10. So I see multiplication here. I see multiplication at the back. I see a couple of subtractions. So I'm going to do multiply before I do anything else. So 10 times 1 is 10 minus 4 minus whatever 4 times 10 is. So I have to do my multiplication. 4 times 10 is 40. So I'm left with 10 minus 4 minus 40. Well, 10 minus 4 is 6. And 6 minus 40 is going to be, once again, the same thing as 6 plus negative 40. So your answer is going to be negative 34. We have 2 more problems in today's lesson. Number 8, question 8. The reason there's question 8 is there are a couple of ordering decimal problems that we're not working on today, so that's why it goes to 8. Okay, this was a true-false question. So let's below true/false. And it says, is the simplified answer 154? So we're going to have to solve this and see if the simplified answer is 154. So I've got 24 times 3/4 minus 10 squared minus 6 times 12. So I have 3 divided by 4 in parentheses. So I could go 3 divided by 4 and come up with a decimal. Or I could just leave that as a fraction since I'm going to be multiplying over here with this. And then I could just multiply fraction over a fraction. So that's what I'm actually going to do. Instead of going 0.75, I think it's actually easier to leave it as a fraction. So the first thing I'm going to do is the 10 squared. So I'm going to rewrite 24 times 3/4 minus 10 squared. Well, 10 squared is 100 minus 6 times 12. And the reason, like I said, I'm going to leave this as a fraction. I'm just going to make 24 over 1. And so then it's very easy for me to simplify this. Since I have a 24 on the top and a 4 on the bottom, I'm looking for something to reduce. And I say, oh, wait, 4 goes into both of those. So 4 goes into 4 once. 4 goes into 24 6 times. So now I'm left with just 6 times 3, which is a lot easier than trying to go 24 times 0.75. So 6 times 3 is 18 minus 100 minus whatever 6 times 12 is. And 6 times 12 is 72. So I am left with 18 minus 100 minus 72. Well, 18 minus 100 is negative 82. Minus 72. And let's do the same thing. So negative 82 plus negative 72, because minus a positive, the same thing as plus a negative. So I have 82 negatives, then I have another 72 negatives. So I have 154 negatives. So it says the simplified answer is 154. Well, the digit is 154, but the sign is incorrect. It should be a negative 154, not a positive 154. So if this was a true false, then you would say false. It is a negative 154. Okay. And the last one. Kind of made it easy on you here. Instead of having to solve the entire problem, we're just asking, what is the first step in the order of operations for evaluating this expression? So knowing what you know, this is how we wrap it up. Do you understand what comes first in the process? And you know that parentheses comes first. However, if you look at this problem right here, this problem has two sets of parentheses. It has an exterior set and it has an interior set. So we don't need to pause this because we're not even solving the whole thing. You are just looking at what is the first thing that we would do. And the first thing that we would do would be the interior set of parentheses. So the first thing I would have to do in this problem is I'd have to figure out what 6 minus 1 is. And 6 minus 1 is 5. So the first thing I would do would be 6 minus 1, because that is in the inside set of parentheses. Even though you have two sets, you always want to do the inside set before the outside set as you follow your order of operations. So in closing today, once again, all we're doing is we're reviewing the order of operations. The reason we have an order of operations is so that everybody gets the same answer as long as they follow those order of operations, so that we don't have all these different answers for people that are really smart, but they're getting different answers. You will check with Miss Horner or myself as far as an alternate assignment or an extra assignment. If you see something posted on the asynchronous day for homework, then you'll just need to do that, and that will align with what we did in this asynchronous lesson. If you do not see that, then you are done for the day, and then we will see you for the live lesson either on Tuesday or Wednesday. Enjoy the rest of your day. We'll talk to you soon.